It's the dawn of 2024 and you're poised for success. Why? Because you've established your why. This isn't just a whim or a hobby. It's the passion that propels you forward, the core of your ambition. Next, you assess your current position. Where do you stand? What are your strengths, your weaknesses? Honesty is key here. Now, envisage your destination. What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? Set those goals. Make them smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. With your destination locked, it's time to map out your plan. Break down your goals into manageable steps, then start stepping. Remember, action without reflection is aimless. Record your results, analyze your performance, and adjust your plan accordingly. The path to success in 2024 isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Take meaningful action, keep your eye on the prize, and continually strive for improvement. Here's to a successful 2024.
You muted, David.
Well, there we are. Good morning to all of you. Welcome today. It's a wonderful Thursday. It's overcast here in Pretoria, and I'm sure a lot of you are sleeping in today because it's a public holiday, and a little bit more about that a little bit later. But here we are today to talk about purpose. And one of the things that we need to do is to basically find our purpose. So what we've been doing is we've been holding this series, which is a 5-part series. And today I welcome you to our part that we're going to be discussing. It's part 4, and it's basically overcoming challenges in finding your purpose. Now, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about identifying what those challenges might be, identifying internal barriers and external barriers that might actually cause you to not find your purpose. We're also going to be talking about resilience and adaptability, and then we're going to look at seeking support and where you can find that necessary support in order to find your purpose. But today I have two very, very astute gentlemen with me, and they are going to be talking about and helping me to discuss the subject. Glenn Jones is a Map for Life coach, and Willem Lombard is a energy life coach. Both of them experts in their field, and we're all going to be talking about this from a very from our points of view. I'm a business coach, and we're going to be talking about this. So please listen in, and I'm going to ask Glenn to come and just introduce himself. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks, David, and welcome everyone. Welcome, Wilhelm. Looking forward to this. I actually did sleep in a bit this morning. It was really great. Glenn Jones. I do life and business coaching. I actually use the Map for Life tool to assist people in terms of actually discovering their purpose. I often say to people that you don't really find your purpose, because when you find your purpose, you've got to go out looking for it. And your purpose is actually from within. So you actually need to discover it within. And that's quite important. But yeah, that's me, and looking forward to today. I think it's going to be a great discussion. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. I hope you can hear the chickens in the background. I'm sitting outside, and it's actually a beautiful day to just sit outside. No glaring sun, so that's really great. So welcome, Glenn. Nice to have you here. And let's ask Wilhelm to introduce himself. Wilhelm, welcome.
Good morning, David and Glenn and everybody else. It's a nice and wonderful day, a little bit cooler here in Pretoria. You know, the past couple of days it was really very hot, so today is cool and it's a holiday. So my name is Willem Lombard. I'm a life energy coach, and specifically focusing on peak performance and help people to strategize their energy. And that's me. So let's talk about it, and I'm really looking forward to what we are going to chat about today.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, Wilhelm. Really great to have you here. So a little bit about myself. My name is David Bauer. I'm from the CEO Business Club. We basically help people to break through that glass ceiling that a lot of businesses have, and we help them to do that by actually teaching how to use the capital mechanism. The We all basically are using the market mechanism. That's where you have a service, a product, you add value, and you sell it for a profit. But there's another way also to create wealth, and that is using the capital mechanism. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you're most welcome to come and follow me on LinkedIn. There's my profile. But great to have you here today. But today is about purpose, and let's find our purpose. So let's go back now to, we're going to be discussing the subjects. And the whole idea is to overcome the challenges in finding your purpose. And now you might be asking, why is this? Well, I'm going to ask Glenn to maybe just introduce why it's so important to find your purpose. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks, David. I appreciate that. I so often talk about this concept, and it really is a passion for me in terms of helping people to discover their purpose and then to actually step into their destiny, to step into that original intent. And I so often use the pen as an example, and I maybe want to use something different as an example today. Let's take something really different, like a microwave. A microwave is like a box, and the original intent, the design for the microwave is actually to warm things, to warm food, to warm drinks, and to cook things. That's what it's been designed for. If I take that microwave and I start using it as a stepladder, or I start using it in gym, these boxes that you jump up and down on, and I start using it for that purpose, that microwave is not going to last. Okay. In fact, if the original creator who created that microwave actually had to see me, they would probably freak. They would probably throw their toys at the cot and tell me, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" Here's the concept. We sometimes go into certain areas of life and do certain things that our creator probably looks at us and goes, "What are you doing? I've created you with an original intent, something with incredible potential, and yet you're going off the rails. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense." So that for me is the concept. And in terms of different challenges, I think it comes down to a whole bunch of different things. And I'll put a couple of points here very quickly. Number one, we tend to conform to the world's way of thinking. And that's quite an interesting one. There's a whole lot of ideas and concepts and different statements that are out in the marketplace. In America, they talk about the American dream. They have the white picket fence and the house and the car and all that type of thing, And we tend to do the same thing in South Africa as well. That's a type of culture and a thought pattern that people have. And if you don't achieve that, then you're not good enough. You're not successful. And that's the biggest load of rubbish out. Another aspect is literally got to do with culture. If I say the words curry and rice, the immediate thought in your mind would be an Indian family, okay, or Indians, or India. But again, I love curry and rice. Why does it have to be Indian? Do you understand the principle here? That's the issue involved, is that we tend to look at something from a cultural perspective and just accept it as the norm. And yet that isn't the case. I guarantee not every Indian likes curry and rice. Okay. I think one of the other challenges is that we tend to get caught up in other people's visions and ideas, and then we follow after that instead of following after the vision and idea that we've got, because we tend to think we're not good enough, we can't do that, so we'll follow after someone else's vision. I can go on and on about this. I can probably spend the next half an hour talking about this. I think let me stop there and just simply say this. I think we really need to get to that point where we quiet ourselves and we sit and start thinking about our passions and desires and figure out, what is my purpose? What is that thing that I need to discover inside me? And here's the point, and I'll finish with this, is that it's not necessarily all about me. Normally the purpose is for someone else or for something else or for the world outside. We will benefit from it, but we need to give it out. That's an important aspect. And we'll be talking and discussing more in detail about this at our workshop on the 6th of April. So you need to be there. Quite an important aspect. That's me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Thanks, Glenn. That was good advice. One of the things that I found, I attended one of the programs we offered at CEO Business Club. And one of the things they was talking about was to actually find your purpose. A really good way to do it is to write your eulogy. Because when you write your eulogy, you actually start to stop and think, okay, what do you want people to say about you once you're no longer here? And what have you achieved? And once you do that, you actually find that, hold a second, all these other things that I'm doing in my life are not important. And you actually you find the essence of what is really important to you. Um, you know, you have the story of the interview with the old man, you know, when he's on his bed and he's about to die, and they say, "What are your regrets?" And I think that's something that the earlier on that you can look at that and say, what would I regret not doing? The quicker and the faster you'll actually find your purpose. So what we're doing today is we're not talking about that. We're talking about what are the challenges that actually stop you from actually getting into understanding your purpose. And one of the things that actually I know for myself has stopped me is fear. Fear is a huge element. Um, and also maybe, what will other people think? What will other people think of me if I'm not doing this? Um, and we always tend to fall into that trap where, we start working for a boss. And then when we're working for the boss, okay, we're earning money, but what are we actually doing? Are we fulfilling our purpose, or are we fulfilling their purpose? And that's the question. So I'd like Wilhelm maybe to talk a little bit more about this, in the challenges that you may face in actually identifying your purpose. Over to you, Wilhelm.
Thank you, David. Yes, from a life energy perspective, I always say that we have 7 different energy tanks. That is your spiritual tank, your physical tank, mental, uh, emotional, social, work, finance, and so on. Now, when we think about your purpose in life, it's situated in your spiritual energy tank. And lots of people don't want to talk about the spiritual energy tank. And that is actually the most important one, because that is one that exists in eternity. It's not just the physical body, the packaging of being here on earth. So it's much more than today and this life. And we must remember the spiritual energy tank is where your meaning in life, your purpose is situated, your value system, and all those things that are quite important, and then your connection with your creator. Now, as Glenn actually mentioned, we are made for a purpose by a creator. So we are made, it's from God. Our purpose is from God, and it's for God. It's not for us, it's for God, and it's for his people. And it's not a physical thing. It's not a thing about myself. It's about, what on earth am I here for? And what's the reason for my existence? So I think often that spiritual tank, the flow from that tank is sort of blocked. And because we don't think about that. We think just about the physical. And that's one of the main reasons why finding your purpose is such a big challenge. I was in the recruitment industry a couple of years back, IT recruitment, and one of the most difficult questions that I could ask somebody is to tell me, what is your purpose in life? And people often hover around and they wonder, what can I say about it? They can tell you what their names is and what their jobs are and so on, but not really what their purpose in life is. And that's the starting point of everything. And the moment when you realize, but listen, I'm not here for myself. I'm here for other people. I'm here for a reason. Somebody made me for a reason to do a certain job. And if you realize that, you start to discover that. And it's actually, as Glenn said, it's there. You are you are designed for a purpose. You must just realize that. And when we think about some of these barriers that we sit with, and the internal barriers is sometimes it's about our mindset. It's about not knowing who you are. I find that's the big problem. People don't know who they really are, except, as I said, their names and where they stay and so on, the basic things. But who are you really? And the moment when you start to discover who you are, then your purpose in life are also sort of popping out. And yeah, it's all about self-confidence problems that we have, disbelief, and try to to discover what is really burning inside you. The moment when you feel your heart, you hear your heart, you open up the energy channels concerning your heart energy and your spiritual energy and all those things, it is as if this picture that was sort of a black and white picture start to develop and get color in your life. And that is what we need to see and need to be open-minded about.
Sure. Thank you so much, Wilhelm. I must say a lot of gems coming from you there, Wilhelm. Yeah, so, one of the things that one has to look at, especially on this journey of, fulfilling your purpose, is to see what are you doing for others? What are you, when they tell you what to do and how to do it? When we're at school, we have your parents saying, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to conform to that. You have your teachers telling you what to do. And very rarely do you actually have the opportunity to say, what do I want to do? Now, I know that when you are younger, and I know this with my daughter, I mean, my daughter would just love to spend her time on a computer or a cell phone. That's what you'd like to do. But I know that that's not great. That's not good. And she has to study and she has to develop her mind. So, but once we get into adulthood and we are now, in our 20s and so on, we go to varsity, we get the choice to actually start to determine what we want to do. Now, for myself, for example, my parents basically said I was going to do BSc building science. And I wanted to create computer games. That's what I wanted to do at that time. And that was very easy at the time because it was DOS. And all we had to do was use MS-DOS and we could create a game. And I'd actually developed a game. And that's what I wanted to do. That was my passion. And yeah, no, they said, go, you must go and use your hands, go and learn how to become a builder. So for a number of years, I did what other people wanted me to do and not doing what I wanted to do. And I think this is one of the challenges that one must understand, that there's a case where when you're younger, there is direction needed. But as you get older, perhaps you can actually really start thinking about what you want to do. So let's look at internal barriers. What is that conflict that goes on within you? And one of the things that I've learned is you don't know what you don't know. And this has a huge impact on your ability to actually recognize what's available out there that you are not aware of that can actually help you to understand in finding what your purpose is. Now, one of the things that I've met a lot of South Africans, and a lot of these South Africans haven't actually traveled overseas. They've never been to Europe, they've never been to China, they've never been to America. And I realize how restrictive that is, because once you start traveling and opening up your mind, you're exposed to many different cultures, you're exposed to many different languages, you're exposed to many different ways people live. And just by doing that and expanding your own mind and understanding what's actually happening out there, you can suddenly start to really define, okay, what do you want to do in your life? What is your purpose to what do you want to achieve in your life? What is your urology going to look like one day when you're no longer here? What are other people going to say about you? So let's ask Glenn to talk about internal barriers. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks, David. Yeah, that's quite an interesting one. This, and I think probably one of the biggest things that you mentioned already is that fear, the fear factor, fear of failure, etc., and even fear of success. Quite frankly, sometimes, although that seems very strange, it's always surprised me. But there is that concept as well. Just a couple of other issues for me. I think number one is, I think one of the biggest issues for me is that people keep on saying to themselves, I don't have vision. I don't have vision for the future. I don't see visions knowing that effect. But I need you to understand, we are created in the image and likeness of our Creator. And our Creator created the most amazing, incredible universe and everything around us in terms of the seed within itself, the trees, the bushes, everything around us is just absolutely fascinating. Now, if we created in that image and likeness, then surely we must also have vision. We must also think of ideas and dreams. And I can guarantee that every single person from the age of, I don't know what, toddler upwards has dreams. So therefore, you can't tell me that you don't have vision. I think it's more an aspect of not really sitting down and actually spending time and actually really thinking about those things, but that you're so busy with things of the world. I just listened to a clip literally just before I came on about a chap speaking about this concept. And he was saying that it's not a case of that we don't have vision. We all have vision. It's a case of actually taking that time and actually playing with it. He used the words playing with it. In other words, to actually sit down and go, wow, that's an idea. That's really great. Let me start writing down a couple of things and then start playing with it. What can come out of this? What's the expectation? What can I do with this? How can this help people, etc., etc.? So asking those questions. That's one of the internal barriers that we have, is that we block those things off. I think I often talk in Map for Life about 3 barriers that people get blocked with all the time: time, money, skill, and knowledge. Okay. So if you get this idea and you think, wow, this is amazing, this is incredible, and you go, no, I don't have the time for this, or I don't have the money to do this, or I don't have the skill and knowledge, so therefore I can't do it. And immediately it gets thrown out the back door. And that's so wrong. We need to look at that from a totally different perspective and see it as, this is an amazing idea. Let's take it further and let's take the next step and let's see what transpires from it. I think a couple of other issues as well, very quickly. Trauma, rejection, those type of things tend to block us as well. Things that have happened in the past. We've tried to go ahead with something. We've been either traumatized or we've been rejected as a result of it. So then we go, I don't want to go that route again, and then we leave it. A bad self-image, bad habits that you've fallen into. All these things actually can block you, and those are internal barriers to stop you from actually reaching that purpose. And one must just make a decision at the end of the day and say, that's it. I will make this change, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to discover this purpose, and I'm going to do absolutely everything in my power to discover it. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I like what you said about the fear of being successful, and this, I think that's a big thing. One of the things I learned early on in life is about, whatever you dream of having or whatever you put out there that you want, you will achieve. And I think that's something that I was, your event this last weekend where you did the ice bath event. You guys set out to achieve the fact that you wanted to break the world record and get 520 people there. And even though right at the end you were like nearly didn't make it, you actually made it. And that everything was right. I mean, the weather was right. I mean, the last thing you want is to have an ice bath in the in the rain. I mean, that would be terrible. That would put a lot of people off and no one would come. And the weather was perfect. Everything just happened because you put it out there. And I think that's one of my fears that I've experienced hugely in my life, is the fear of actually being successful. And that's something I need to overcome. And I am overcoming that. I'm working on that. But now let's ask Wilhelm from an energy point of view, because I think this is a really important point, especially if if you're feeling depressed and you feel like all these people are awful and they're horrible to you and so on. How do you overcome that? Because that's really from an internal point of view. Because remember, you create your own reality. Your reality comes from within. It's your choice to create the reality that you want. If you like people, that's what's going to happen. If you don't like people, that's what's going to happen. So that's it. Over to you, Wilhelm.
Thank you, David. Yeah, you guys mentioned a couple of things. When you talk about seeing the world, different places in the world, you know, being where you are, and that connect as well with your vision. What is vision? It's to see. Okay, come back where you are. Where you are, you just see the world as flat because you can only see. I mean, we know the world is not flat, but just because we saw it on pictures or whatever. But and we know about that now. But actually, the world is flat for you if you don't have any vision, because vision is where you can look around over the horizon when you see more than what you can see here and now. And that's why it's so important when you think about your purpose is to see what you can't see. And that's why the vision thing plays a very big role. But yes, it's all about your energy. You know, the reason why people don't do something is because they don't feel like it. Feeling is an emotion, and emotion is energy in motion. It's the only way how we can interpret certain aspects in our lives and certain energy fields and flow in our lives. And if we can sort of have a purpose on paper, we can have a great business idea. Everything can be 100% and it definitely will work. But if I don't feel like it, I don't do it. And why do people often don't feel like doing it? It's because they lack energy. They're just too tired. What is the most important thing that you need to get out of bed, except for oxygen, of course, that's the most important thing, is energy. You need the energy to get out of bed and to go forward. And the same thing, you need energy to pursue your purpose, to say, but listen, I'm going there, I'm moving forward, I'm having the vision, I look over further than the horizon. I look there where I can't see. You know, sometimes we look at the ships on the horizon and you go there. When you get to that ship, you see, but there's much more or many more other ships beyond that ship. And you see more and you see more. And that is what vision is actually all about. And because of the fact that we lack energy, we don't feel like doing something, pursuing our purpose, and we get stuck. And we actually lose our self-confidence and our belief and all those things. And that's why, and that's those internal problems that we're stuck with. And we need to overcome it. We need to really work on it. We need to open up the flows of energy. And one of the other things that I believe that's a big problem that prevent us from moving towards our purpose is our operating system. We sit with an old operating system. We sit with an operating system where it's all about survival. Now, as I've mentioned before, when you get out of the cave, you go and look for food, and then every now and then there's a lion or tiger jumping out of the bush, and then you go into fight or flight and you do whatever you need to do. But it happens once a week and so on. But today we are bombarded by lots of stressors. And these things are actually sapping or draining our energy. And because of that, that thing come into play where you mentioned now a fear of being successful, the fear factor. The moment when you have fear, you switch off the energy tanks and there's no flow. And that's why we don't get to where we really want to go. But okay, as you can hear, I can also talk a lot about this, but this is energy. Energy is so important to give you the fuel to be able to get to where you want to be. And that, I think, is a big barrier, internal barrier, because your energy is low, and that's the problem.
Thank you, Wilhelm. Yeah, you know, this brings us on to the next subject, and you really started to cover that, was the external barriers. You know, when you go out of the cave, as you were saying, and the lion attacks you, these are things that actually come from outside and actually start to influence you. And I spoke a little bit about earlier, when you're younger, your parents telling you what you must do, and your teachers telling you what to do, and so on and so forth. And then as you get a little bit older, you can actually start making your own decisions, and you can start taking those ideas and saying, okay, what do I want to do? But it's that continual thing, and I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that are in a situation where maybe we're working for a boss, and we are actually working on the boss's purpose and not our own, and we haven't found the way to actually incorporate our purpose into what they're doing. So what we're doing is we're actually living an unfulfilled life, because what we're doing is we are working on whatever we're working on, but we are achieving their goal, their purpose, not ours. Now, it's not to say that you must not get employed and you mustn't get a job. This is not what I'm saying. You might be a situation where you are, for example, you're a data guy, right? And you love solving problems. You like to analyze data and to determine what that data says and interpret it. Now, that might be your purpose, to understand people, understand what their requirements are. You analyze the data and really get results and be able to give people those results in a good way. Now, you might be doing that, but then at the same time, you're working for someone who needs that information. You are fulfilling your purpose. So you might be a person who loves doing accounting, loves numbers, loves sorting it out, loves making sure that people, get good advice with regard to their financials. Now, that might be living your purpose, but you might still be working for a job. So I'm not saying that you are in a situation where you mustn't work. You must work. Well, we all work. I mean, that's what we're here to do as well. But the thing is to actually live your purpose while you're doing the work is the most important thing. And I'm going to ask Glenn to maybe talk a little bit about those external factors and those external barriers that could cause you not to actually be able to achieve your purpose. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks again, David. Once again, I think it comes down to that concept of resources, and one of the major resources is money. We always think we have to have money first before we can do anything in terms of any work situation, any vision, idea, concept, etc. And that's not always the case. I actually tell a story about the money is in the floor, and I'm not going to tell that story now. I'm going to actually leave that for the 6th of April, so you've got to come listen. The money is in the floor. It's a very interesting story, and that proves that you don't necessarily need money to actually start something. It helps, absolutely. I fully understand that. But the fact of the matter is that you don't necessarily have to have the money up front to actually start something. In fact, talking about the ice bath, that was the whole concept behind it, that we're actually trying to run a business from start to finish without any resources up front and actually get to R1 million profit in 90 days, which is quite a feat. But that's the process. That's exactly what Eugene from Van Studios is doing. So that part, the ice bath, was part of that. There's another aspect over here, and that is specific around the economy. Obviously, external barriers, the economy plays a big part. But here's the issue. Many people through COVID time period were saying things like, well, there's no money. Well, where did the money go? Just because I don't have money doesn't mean to say that other people don't have money. There was plenty of money. The money's still there. It's just a case of it's been channeled in different areas. Okay. The fascinating thing to me is that I've spoken to so many people over the past couple of years after COVID. It is absolutely amazing how many people came up with new ideas and new concepts and started businesses within COVID time period. Absolutely incredible. That adversity actually creates opportunities for you. But again, it comes down to having that right vision and saying, that's part of my purpose. I have a passion and desire for that. Let me step into that and let's go. Let's take that first step and let's start moving. The resources will begin to flow as a result of you taking that step in the first place. It's just the way it works. It's the way our Creator has done things. Okay, it's the way He works. A couple of other things just very quickly. I think one of the biggest challenges is also peer pressure from outside. The sad thing for me is that when you look at family, oftentimes family will block you and stop you in terms of ideas and concepts and stepping into that destiny. And it's not because they don't love you, it's because they love you. And I know that sounds strange, but here's the point. It's because they think that you're going to step into something and you're going to fail, and they don't want you to fail. They love you, so they're trying to protect you, but they don't understand the purpose and they don't understand the vision. If they can understand that, then they should by rights be supporting you and helping you, moving you forward, and actually encouraging you. And that's the issue involved. We need to find people and stick with people that will encourage us, that will help us, that will support us. A very important aspect. You take any top person nowadays, be it the Trumps of the world, be it Richard Branson, be it Alex Hormozy, all these guys, they always have people around them that are going to encourage them and help them and support them. And they have coaches as well. Okay, let me stop over there. Again, I can continue with a whole bunch of different things, but we're going to run out of time. So let's move on.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Let's ask Wilhelm to maybe add his views on external barriers that might exist, especially from an energy point of view.
Thank you, David. Yes, I just want to connect again on what you've mentioned about the working in a workplace and not find your purpose there. And that is one of the things that we also address with our vision boarding and those type of courses that we do, or to really help people. A clever business owner or CEO is those ones that align their vision and their people's vision, align it with one another, because then you will get the best out of your workers, out of your team, when they are in line with what you want to achieve, and it's also part of their vision. So that's very, very important, because there's new dynamics, there's new energy that you actually open up. The flow is incredible if you are able to do that. And we don't do a vision board exercise on our 6th of April get together, but we discuss a few guidelines there to help a person to really fill the tanks, the energy tanks, and to get a power vision. But yeah, when we think about the external barriers, as you've mentioned, the loved ones, the world out there, the world out there want to push us into a box, and we need to think that they want us to think. And that's why it's sometimes so different when we really live our purpose, and that's the difference. Now, there are lots of things that prevent us from doing that. One of the things that I think we are really bombarded, or we get this information overflow. We can just talk about something here. Tomorrow you get it on your phone, and you are sidetracked with lots of things. I've realized in this week, I'm a fool of that. I like looking at all the videos and get more knowledge and all those things. But I thought to myself, if I'm willing to look at a video clip for 6 times, 6 days, because then you really comprehend what's going on there, then I can look at this. But if I'm not willing to look at that for 6 times, then I'm actually wasting my time, because I will get some idea of something, but not really all the aspects of it. So be careful that too much knowledge can sidetrack you from your purpose. So be careful about that. And then Glenn, you've mentioned the COVID thing. And I think lots of people with COVID or the lockdown and what happened in the world, lots of people lost their purpose. Sort of, it was, they flawed, and they only get back on track now again. And of course, things like that, challenges like that, can energize you, and you can come up with new ideas and new purpose and whatever. Let that be the thing for you, and don't let the challenges of life, the external factors, actually drain your energy, and now you sit back and say, there's nothing left for me, life have no purpose. So be careful for that, and and look again, open your eyes again and say, but listen, I need to look up and see above the now and this, what is actually in store for me. And energize yourself, open up the flow of your spiritual energy tank.
Thank you so much, Wilhelm. This brings us on to our subject of resilience and adaptability, and developing strategies that can help you to actually do this. And I think once you find your purpose, you have that resilience because you have a belief, and the belief in yourself and belief in what you want to achieve is what's so amazing. Now, I actually went to a presentation on Tuesday night. It was done by a guy called Dirk from Future Rent. Now, he's a petronut, and or petrol head as they call him, and he comes from the financial background, but the thing was that he was looking at wanting to achieve something, and he was in the car industry, and he thought to himself, I want to help people, but how do I help them? And he actually identified a unique space in the market where there are apparently, from his market research, is 10 million people in South Africa who need a car who can't get bank financing. That's an incredible amount of people who are unable, who need a vehicle but are unable to actually get a vehicle. And so he's decided to help that industry, and he's gone in and to develop a specific product to help people in that space. Now, the most amazing thing is that he started talking about this whole thing about from November 22. And I remember talking to him about it, and he said, no, this is what he's going to do, and so on. But he said that, there's been a lot of outside factors, this is impossible. It's never been done before. He's had to outflank what's actually happening at the moment. He's had to think of a new idea to actually serve these people that need the vehicle, and come up with an idea that is financially, it will work financially, as well as to serve them and to provide them with vehicles. And he's come up with an idea. He's used technology, he's used a whole lot of things, but he was persistent. And he didn't listen to what other people were saying, who were saying, oh no, it can never be done, and oh no, it can't be done, and whatever. So this is something that it's all about, is having that belief in whatever it is. And I'd like to ask Glenn about that. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks, David. Another fascinating topic, this, I must admit. And I was in actual fact having a coaching session yesterday with a client and talking about this very same thing. For me, I think just in terms of the strategy moving forward is regarding that purpose and discovering that purpose, I think what I was basically explaining to this chap is, I want you to go and write down your values. Write down values in terms of your personal life, in terms of your marriage, in terms of your children, in terms of your work situation, and different aspects as far as the various businesses that he had. And write down what is a value system around that particular area. And then from there, I want you to actually create a habit that you can use to actually instill that particular value. So physically set up a habit to actually instill that value. And that's an important aspect, because we tend to write things down and then just push it aside and forget about it. And it needs to become a habit for us. And in that habit, you're going to actually put in place that value system that will come out continuously. It'll literally be like a oozing out of you every time you speak with people and things like that. And there'll be an excitement and enthusiasm. That's an automatic thing that takes place because of those habits that you put in place. The other things, obviously, then to set the goals, actually setting goals correctly, and making sure you're following through with those goals and creating that action, those action steps, and stepping into that action. And then the last point I mentioned to you was simply accountability. Get people around you, whether that's another coach or whether it's family, friends, whoever it might be. Have an accountability partner, possibly a couple, that can hold you accountable. And again, it's not about wrap over the knuckles, you haven't done this. No, it's about helping and supporting you and encouraging you and getting you to take the steps and moving forward. Because we all go through challenges. And I think I've told the story before about the so-called stress fractures in a tree. If there's no wind where a tree grows, that tree will fall over. Okay, the roots might be great, the soil might be great, everything might be perfect, but if there's no wind, it doesn't create those stretch fractures in the tree. And as a result, the tree will fall the first time there's a storm coming. We need to go through challenges in life. It's part of life, as difficult as it is sometimes. And oftentimes we think, why me? Why me? But those stress fractures will help you to move through life and actually go through obstacles in the future that you can normally help other people as well. And again, it's just something it's life. It's part of life. It's going to happen. But we need to apply it, and we need to look at it from a different perspective than just, oh, why me? Why is this always going wrong with me? We literally need to negate that and rebuke that out of our lives. We shouldn't even be saying and thinking things like that. We should rather be saying, what can I learn from this? How can I take this issue, this problem, this challenge, and actually turn it into an opportunity? And besides that, how can I use this to help others? Because again, purpose is not just about me. It's about giving out and reaching out to others. Okay.
Thanks so much, Ben. Thank you so much. But Helen, from your point of view, tell us a little bit about what you think from an energy point of view for resilience and adaptability.
Thank you, David. Yes, when I think about resilience, many years ago at schools, nowadays as well, you get those medicine balls. And when you drop that ball, it's just poof. And then you get a soccer ball, for instance, and it bounces. Now, that is the difference. We need energy. And even in tennis balls, after a while, when you play with this ball, after a while, it's losing its bounce. And that's what happened with us. Unfortunately, today, we are bombarded by all the stressors. I mean, stress is the highest ever. And the more people are burning out than ever before. And stress will not get less. It will just get more and more and more. And my purpose in life is to help people to be more life energy intelligent. I think people don't have an idea about their energy. And as I mentioned before, if you don't have the energy, you will not get up and go and do whatever you need to do. So I need to help people to understand, but listen, how do you fill your energy tanks? How do you activate your energy tanks? What do you need to do to overcome that problem of an old operating system and to set up a defense system when those missiles of negative energy are fired on you, that you really detect it as soon as possible, and so that it won't influence your life. And we need to become much more life energy intelligent concerning that. And that's what I only can say. People talk about adaptability, they talk about resilience, but although technology-wise we are growing like crazy, as people, we are just the same, as if we are still in ancient times where we walk from one city to the other with our sandals, and we have this rustige dag, quiet, and so on. We don't have that anymore. In our modern life, we are the whole time burning the fuel. It's unbelievable. And we need to adapt in that sense, to understand our energy better, to manage that better, to become intelligent so that we can still survive. Otherwise, we will die of heart attacks and strokes and serious bad diseases and all those things, and we will lose our interest in life. We will lose our purpose. So that's all I can say concerning this. Really become life energy intelligent. And we are going to talk a lot about that in my section on the 6th of April. So guys, please come and listen. Just get your mindset changed a little bit, understanding your own energy in life, because that's the only way you can enjoy life. So many people lost the enjoyment, the fulfillment of life. They are just trying to survive. Every day is a survival game, and we need to go from survival to success to significance. And we will talk a lot about this in that session that day. So please pitch up and book your seat as quick as possible, and learn more about life energy intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wilhelm. Yeah, you know what you're saying about having that life energy intelligence is so important, and it's one of the things that one needs to look at, not just from a purpose point of view, but from your whole life point of view. From what you eat, to whether you're exercising, to whether you're learning something every day, to how you are with other people, to how you are with your family, and how you actually take responsibility in your life, and how you're accountable, and so on and so forth. And one of the things that can really help us in achieving that is seeking support. There's a number of ways of actually seeking support. You can get a mentor, you can get a coach, you can go along and identify places which give you an immense amount of data and information. You can go and read books, you can go and do courses, you can become part of different types of communities, and it depends on yourself. What is your purpose, and how can you actually seek help there? I know we come into this world alone and we go out of this world alone, but while we're here, we are community type people. We want to be within communities. We want to be, it's airplane overboard. I hope you can't hear it. But the whole idea is that you need to actually see how you can actually, who are the people that you can help you in actually achieving what you need to do in your life. And I'd like, one of the things we're going to be doing is having this event on the 6th of April. It's a Saturday. We're going to be holding it at the Casablanca wedding venue. It's Casablanca Manor. It's just outside Pretoria. It's a beautiful venue, but not only that, they give great food, but we're going to be there to actually help you in actually achieving your purpose and identifying how you can actually achieve those goals and those intentions that you've set for this year, and make sure that by the end of the year you actually complete them without having a repeat of last year. So Glenn, can you maybe give us some highlights on that and just talk a bit about the event that's going to happen? Over to you.
Before I do, I believe it's Wilhelm's birthday today. Is that true?
It is his birthday. I was going to give him a surprise just now, but now you broke it. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to you. We'll sing to you just now. We won't sing now. We don't want to scare people away. Okay, thanks, David. To come back to your question.
Okay.
You see, it's very interesting. We often do practical things at this workshop, and it just makes so much sense when people actually do things practically from that perspective. So it's not just about us standing up and giving a lecture. There's practical aspects to it, and so people really enjoy doing that, and they can learn so much from it. So we really encourage you to come to that session. It really is, I believe, absolutely worthwhile, and you'll go away with value. You'll go away with something that you can actually use and apply in your life. And certainly in terms of the purpose, it can help you and support you. One of the things that I do, obviously, is the tool Map for Life, which is literally exactly that. That's the whole concept and idea behind Map for Life. It's a management tool to help you to discover your purpose. The whole process that you work through is actually for that. So as far as seeking support is concerned, that's exactly part of it. The support that we give is helping people to discover their purpose and running through the process of Map for Life. We do day courses. We can give you even a free gift that we can send out to you. And be there on the 6th of April. We can give you that free gift, and you can use and apply that and then take it further from there. So it really is worthwhile. A couple of other points just very quickly is also in terms of getting a coach. David's already mentioned that. Think of using us as well, the three of us. That's what we do as well. It's part of what we do. Networking with people, you can get some great ideas and get some concepts from other people and actually start applying that in your life. And again, it comes down to what I call peer up. Have peers around you that are higher than you, more knowledgeable than you, that are more successful than you, and follow after them and the ideas that they come up with, and go through those ideas and think of things yourself, because it just gets your mindset completely changed. And then you start thinking really great and big ideas. What I call a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals. Okay, here we go. That's me. Thank you.
They were great. So the birthday boy, come on, I was going to give you a surprise, but you can have a go now. Over to you, Willem.
Well, thank you, David and Glenn. Yeah, you know, I think that is our purpose, our three wise men here. I'm 62 today, and we are all above 60. So we got lots of experience, and that's our purpose with this workshop, to really share those things with you guys. You will also, if you performance, energy and performance are closely related. You can't perform if you lack energy. And in our session that day, we will do a little questionnaire thing with you, so where you can really detect what your performance ability is, and that will give you an idea. You can never perform above your energy level. If you are at a 60 energy level, you can't really perform more than your energy. So, and that's why sometimes people don't understand why they are not really moving forward. Now, I talk about different energy tanks. Maybe your energy, your social energy tank is a bit low, and that's why you really don't connect with your people, maybe, or whatever the case might be. So there are different things that we are going to quickly look at, and we are here to really give you the support. People seek support. Where do you get support? There's so much information. I got all the books here on my bookcase, but that's books on the bookcase. And you look at all the information and you don't really use it or apply it in your life. And I think that's what we are going to do. We are going to help you with practical things that you can really apply in your life. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, and have a great energetic day. I organize, I always say, when I went for a coffee date with President Mandela a couple of years back, he said, "Willem, you're such a nice guy. I want to give you a nice holiday for your birthday, but we must call it Human Rights Day." So I just said thank you, and we got that holiday. So enjoy today, and all the best to you guys.
You're muted, David.
I'm lost here. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, come and join us on that day. It's going to be great. I'm going to quickly give us a little bit of a video, and then come stay on if you would like to listen to our birthday wishes to Wilhelm. Over to you. Okay, here we are. Bye.
Picture this. It's the dawn of 2024 and you're poised for success. Why? Because you've established your why. This isn't just a whim or a hobby. It's the passion that propels you forward, the core of your ambition. Next, you assess your current position. Where do you stand? What are your strengths, your weaknesses? Honesty is key here. Now, envisage your destination. What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? Set those goals. Make them smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. With your destination locked, it's time to map out your plan. Break down your goals into manageable steps, then start stepping. Remember, action without reflection is aimless. Record your results, analyze your performance, and adjust your plan accordingly. The path to success in 2024 isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Take meaningful action, keep your eye on the prize, and continually strive for improvement. Here's to a successful 2024.
Great, welcome. Anyway, this is just a little bit of a, we're still live, and Wilhelm, I wish you all the best for your birthday. But you had prepared a video. It's not loading some reason. But I'll send it to you. So I wish you all the best on your day, and take care. Over to you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. And Willem, I think you've missed your calling. You should be doing voiceovers and voice personations. So, but good one there. Congratulations with your birthday, man. That's really great. And you're looking good for 62, man. Keep it up.
Hold on. Well, don't go yet. Wait for a second. 1 second. I must say, I enjoyed today's session. No.
Is that your dogs in the background?
No, it might be.
I think it must be.
Okay. They're singing happy birthday to you, Willem.
It's the neighbor's dogs.
Okay.
So slow.
We still live, eh?
Hey?
We still live. You must switch off that, man.
Yeah, we're still live. Hey. Okay.
Are you still trying to look for the video?